Good afternoon, friends. It's Tuesday, September 22nd. Time for daily reflection. I've been wondering if we have become less civil, or have we just slowly been marching toward this current normal for a long time? Maybe it's just the events of the last couple of days that makes me wonder, but here's what I observed. It started the other day. I was trying to pull out of the parking lot or pull out of a parking space and get into the flow of traffic so I could leave the parking lot. When trying to make that left-hand turn, it just simply wasn't quick. Every time I thought I could turn, traffic was coming from one direction or the other. So I waited for an inordinately long period of time. Finally made the left-hand turn and pulled forward a little bit just as folks were coming out of one of the stores and walking across the drive into the parking lot itself. I inched up a little more and then had to stop because somebody was backing out of their spot and I had to wait for them to move so that I could move forward. So as I'm sitting there watching the person pull out, you ever have that experience that you know you're about to see an accident and there's nothing you can do to stop it? I sat there with high anxiety as I watched two cars, both claiming a right to the newly opened parking spot, race into the crash. The fenders crunched, the drivers were irate, and the shouting began. Mind you, neither one of them got out of their cars. They just rolled down the other window and shouted back and forth. I heard some heated words in that exchange, and I made a quick exit to get out of Dodge. I really didn't want to be there. Was it the best thing to do? I'm not sure still, but I know I didn't want to stay and get weighed down by this awful mess. The last words that I heard as I was driving away was, "I saw it first." I thought, as I'm driving toward the exit of the parking lot, have I gone back to first grade and I'm in the playground and my first grade friends are saying, "I saw the swing open first, so it's mine"? Gosh. And then there was today. Driving to work along Alamo Drive, approaching Peabody, as I entered the parking area for the Lucky Shopping Center, a driver was waiting to exit the shopping center and turn left. Now, I'm in the midst of a stream of cars, so there really was no way to turn. Even if you had the Batmobile and you could accelerate across that traffic, still no chance. But then again, she decided to pull forward, which meant that the driver on the right-hand side who wants to turn right cannot see a thing now, so she has to pull forward. I immediately let off the gas and waited to see what was going to happen for being afraid. Both of them stopped, and I was able to drive by. I got a little further along, and all of a sudden I hear a loud horn sound behind me. And I quickly looked up into the rearview mirror to see what I could see, and what I saw what appeared to be somebody shaking their fist. I don't know what happened. I made the right-hand turn onto Peabody, and I got out of there as soon as I could. I still wondered, why did the left turner feel the need to move forward? Couldn't she see the oncoming line of cars from where she sat? And why the car behind me honked so bad? I still was shaking my head driving up Peabody toward church, still wondering, did maybe her foot just fall off the brake and the car moved forward on its own? Or did she touch the gas pedal? I don't know. Now, I've known for a long time that driving courtesy has been an issue for us, but it almost seems as if we're more quickly losing our control. Then, of course, there's all those other ongoing interactions with things like masks, gatherings, changing what we can and cannot do, or say what we can and cannot do, or changing our minds on how we do things just because. Or this text conversation. It started with the words of a confession. I wrote a profanity-laced email and then deleted it. I sat back for a moment and thinking, was I supposed to get the profanity-laced email and you deleted it? Thank you. But thank you, though, nonetheless, for whoever was supposed to get it, that you didn't send it. You checked yourself. The conversation continued, and eventually it was about social media. And I've responded as I have for so long now that I think social media has given us the opportunity to forget all norms and boundaries. We seem to be able to say whatever comes into our mind, and it appears no thought is ever given to how those words will be seen and read. I know I'm guilty of it. I wrote a sarcastic comment on a friend's post. Now, we've known each other for a long time, and my friend knows that I am a sarcastic person from the get-go. I assumed he would read the message with my sarcasm intended. But no, he didn't get the hidden message. Instead, I got a response back that caused me to realize I had overstepped that boundary. Now, thankfully, my apology was accepted. And 3 days later came a text from my friend asking, were you being sarcastic and I missed it? Now, I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic. So I answered back, yes, and I'm sorry. I need a better font. He answered back, I'm sorry, I wasn't in the mood. Back to that original question for this day. Have we become less civil? Is it because we've been forced out of our normal routines these last 6, 7 months? Is it because we're fighting a pandemic for too long? We're feeling claustrophobic? We're feeling isolated? We're not remembering how to behave? Are we just worn out? Or has our civility been waning for some time now? As you hear this reflection, I invite you to offer a comment. Now, here are some conditions on your comments. Please be respectful. Remember, we're discussing civility here. No name calling, no finger pointing, and I'd really prefer more than just an emoji. As Campbell's kindergarten teacher uses her phrase, please use your words. And I promise you, I will be reading your comments to see what you all think. And I suspect that I'll be responding with something more than an emoji. After all, to not respond would not be civil either, would it? I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. It'll be a fun day. Worship here at Shepherd of the Hills at 9:30 a.m., including communion, of course. But until then, please remember, wash your hands 20 seconds at a time. Sing happy birthday to yourself. I learned that when I worked in a restaurant once. It lasts about 20 seconds. Wash them a couple times a day, and of course, hand lotion to make them nice and soft to be held. Stay home if you're not feeling well. Love one another. Practice that important physical distancing. If you can't be physically distanced, wear your mask. If you're with family and close friends, your bubble, throw the mask away, just hug one another, and take care and love one another. And of course, as Sergeant Esther House dismisses me every single day, be careful out there.